If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Chapter 1. The Dreaming Mind in Hindu Cosmology. Setting the Sacred Stage. Part 1. The Four States of Consciousness, Where Dreams Live. There is a teaching in the ancient scriptures about the four states in which the self exists. These four states are called Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and Turiya. The first is Jagrat. This is the waking state. In this state, the self is fully awake and uses the eyes, ears, and all the senses to know the world outside. The self sees, hears, touches, and moves through the world of things. The second is Swapna. This is the dreaming state. In this state, the body lies still, and the outer world is closed off. But the self is not gone. The self is still awake inside. It sees things, hears things, and moves through a world it makes within itself. This inner world is just as real as the outer one. The self that dreams is a real self, moving through a real experience. The third is Sushupti. This is the state of deep, dreamless sleep. In this state, the self does not see, or hear, or think. There are no desires and no fears. There is only deep rest and quiet. Yet even here, the self is not destroyed. It rests in a place of stillness where nothing moves. The fourth is Turiya. This is beyond the other three. It is not waking, not dreaming, and not deep sleep. It is pure awareness itself. It cannot be spoken of easily, for it is the ground beneath all the other states. It is where the self truly rests in its full nature. Know this clearly. The dreaming state is not empty. It is not nothing. When the body sleeps and the eyes close, the self does not disappear. It moves into the dreaming world still fully alive, still fully aware. In that world, the hold of the body grows loose. The self begins to see things that the waking eyes cannot see. It reaches into places the waking mind cannot go. This is why the dream carries meaning. This is why the dream can carry truth. Part 2. The Subtle Body and the Dream Traveler. What moves when we sleep? And so, listen carefully to what the ancient teachers have said about the body that moves when you sleep. When you lie down and your eyes close and your breathing grows slow, your physical body stops. It stays still. It doesn't move. But you, the real you, do not stop. Something in you remains wide awake. The ancient teachers called this the Sukshma Sharira, which simply means the subtle body. It is the part of you made not of flesh and bone, but of mind, thought, knowing, the sense of I, and the life force that breathes through all things. This subtle body does not sleep. It moves. It goes where the physical body cannot go, and in that moving, it enters worlds that your waking eyes will never see. The great teaching of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says this clearly. When a person enters the dreaming state, that person becomes like a great king. The dreaming self takes the materials from its own life, everything it has seen, heard, felt, and known, and builds an entirely new world from them. No one helps. No outside tools are needed. The dreaming self creates by itself, from itself. But this is not all. The subtle body, freed from the weight of the physical form, does not only look inward, it also reaches outward. It touches what is beyond the single life of one person. It comes close to the great web of knowing that runs through all of creation. In that space, the walls between what has happened and what is yet to come grow thin. This is why the dreaming self can sometimes see what has not yet arrived in the waking world. The subtle body, no longer held down by the body of flesh, floats free, and in that freedom, it catches glimpses of what is already written in the fabric of all things. The physical body binds you to one moment, one place, one thin line of knowing, but the subtle body is not bound. And so while you sleep, it moves through what ordinary eyes cannot reach. It brings back what it finds. Sometimes what it finds is the future. Part 3. Prana, the cosmic web, and the flow of future knowledge. All things that exist are held together by one invisible force. The ancient teachers called it Prana. It is not just the breath you breathe. It is the living power that runs through every leaf, every stone, every star, and every soul. Nothing is separate from it. Everything is connected to everything else through this one great web of living energy. Now, here is something the ancient ones understood very clearly. Time is not a straight road. It does not move only forward, from yesterday to today to tomorrow. In the way of Brahman, the one without beginning or end, all of time exists at once. The past is there, the present is there, and what you call the future is also already there, held within the eternal body of the Absolute. This is not easy for the waking mind to feel or see. When you are awake, you are tied to one single moment. You see only what is directly in front of you. The physical senses pull your attention to the here and now. You cannot look sideways into time. But when you sleep, something changes. The boundaries of your small self begin to loosen. The dreaming mind does not grip tightly to the rules of waking life. And in that loosening, it becomes possible to touch the great web of Prana. The ancient Rishis, the holy seers who sat in deep stillness and listened to the voice of all things, gave a name to the place where all events are stored across all of time. They called it the Akashic Field. Think of it as an infinite record, holding everything that has ever happened and everything that is yet to come. A prophetic dream is a moment when the sleeping mind drifts close enough to this field to catch a glimpse of what is already written there. The future, in this sense, is not hidden. It is already formed in the fabric of all things. Most people cannot see it because the waking self stands in the way. Sleep moves the waking self aside, and sometimes, just for a moment, the dreaming mind sees clearly. Part 4. The Vedic Roots. Earliest references to prophetic dreams. This knowledge did not begin with scholars or philosophers sitting in quiet rooms. It began with the Veda itself, the oldest breath of sacred sound given to humanity. The Atharva Veda, one of the 4 great root texts of all Vedic knowledge, speaks of dreams with great seriousness. It does not treat them as confusion of the sleeping mind. It treats them as events, real events, events that carry weight and meaning. Whole hymns within the Atharva Veda are given to the subject of dreams, what they mean, how to read them, and what a person must do after receiving one. The text divides dream signs into 2 kinds, those that bring good news and those that carry warning. For the good ones, gratitude and prayer are offered. For the troubling ones, specific rituals are laid out to soften or remove what the dream may have shown. The Rig Veda, the oldest of all the Vedas, also carries this understanding, though in smaller pieces scattered through its hymns. In these ancient verses, visions received during sleep are spoken of as gifts from something greater than the human mind. Gods, ancestors, or the deep forces that hold the world together. This is important to understand clearly. These are not later stories added by village people or popular belief. These ideas live in the very first and most sacred layer of Hindu knowledge. From the very beginning, the Veda taught that when a person sleeps, something may pass through, a message, a sign, a look at what is coming. The sleeping mind was never seen as simply resting. It was seen as open in a way the waking mind is not. And in that openness, truth sometimes enters. This ancient knowing became the ground from which an entire science of dreams would grow. Part 5. Swapna Shastra, the sacred science of dream interpretation. From this ancient ground, a full science was born. It was given a name, Swapna Shastra. These 2 words mean, simply, the knowledge of dreams. And it was not a small or simple thing. It grew into a complete system, with its own books, its own teachers, and its own careful rules. This science did not say that every dream means something. It did not say that one symbol always means one thing for every person. It was more careful than that. It looked at many things together before it spoke. First, it looked at when the dream came. A dream seen in the early hours before sunrise was given more weight than a dream seen just after a person falls asleep. The time of the dream mattered. Second, it looked at the state of the person dreaming. Was this person living a clean and righteous life? Was the heart steady or troubled? A pure and devoted person was seen as more open to true seeing in dreams than one whose mind was scattered or full of wrongdoing. Third, it looked at whether the dream came once or many times. A dream that comes again and again carries more truth than one that appears only once and fades. Fourth, it looked at the feelings inside the dream. Was there fear? Was there peace? Was there joy? These feelings were part of the reading, not separate from it. And fifth, it looked at the images themselves, what was seen, what was heard, what happened. Certain images carried known meanings, passed down through the sacred books. Two great texts stand as the main sources of this science. The first is the Swapna Chintamani, which means the jewel of dream thought. It gathers hundreds of dream images and explains what each one points to. The second is the Brihat Samhita, written by the great scholar Varahamihira, which gives careful and detailed guidance on reading the signs found in dreams. These were not small writings made by ordinary people. They were the work of learned men who spent their lives in study and in devotion. This was not superstition. It was a structured and serious path of knowledge, built carefully over many generations, so that human beings could listen rightly to what the sleeping mind receives. Chapter 2. Swapna Shastra Unveiled. The Architecture of Prophetic Dreams. Part 1. The three categories of dreams: meaningful, meaningless, and prophetic. Not every dream that visits you in the night carries a message from beyond. The ancient teachers knew this well, and they were careful to separate one kind of dream from another. The first kind comes from the body. When you have eaten too much, when fever burns in you, when you are tired beyond measure, your body speaks in the night. It throws up strange images, confused visions, heavy and dark feelings. These dreams mean nothing beyond the body's struggle. Do not look for signs in them. Do not fear them. They are the body talking, nothing more. The second kind comes from the heart and the mind that is still awake inside you, even while you sleep. The things you want but have not received, the things you fear but have not faced, the old wounds that have not healed. All of these rise up when the eyes are closed. You dream of what you desire. You dream of what you dread. These dreams, too, carry no message from the divine. They are only the noise of your own waking life, still moving inside you. The third kind is different. It is rare. It comes when the mind has grown quiet, when the heart is still, when the soul rests in a clear and open place. In this stillness, something greater than the self begins to speak. It is in this kind of dream that the future may show itself. It is here that divine knowledge passes through. Swapna Shastra, the ancient science of dreams, teaches that only this third kind should be listened to as prophecy. It gives clear guidance on how to know the difference, so that a person does not mistake the hunger of the belly or the fear of the heart for the voice of God. This is the first and most important teaching. Before you read a dream, know where it came from. Part 2. The Sacred Hours. Why Brahma Muhurta dreams are most prophetic. Now, having understood which dreams are worth listening to, the ancient teachers speak of something even more precise. They tell us not only what kind of dream carries truth, but also when in the night that truth is most likely to come. There is a time, before the sun rises, when the whole world is still. This time is called the Brahma Muhurta. It falls roughly 90 minutes before sunrise, between what we know as 3:30 and 6 in the morning. The teachers of Swapna Shastra held this time as sacred above all others. They said that at this hour, the night has done its work. The body has rested. The mind has finished sorting through its fears and its desires. What remains, in those last quiet moments before dawn, is something clean and open. The ancient teachings explain why this is so through the three great qualities that move through all things: tamas, rajas, and sattva. Tamas is heaviness, the pulling down into sleep and stillness. Rajas is restlessness, the movement of wanting and worrying. At the hour of Brahma Muhurta, both of these grow weak. Sattva, which is the quality of light and purity and clear seeing, rises in their place. It rises in the air around the sleeping person. It rises within the body and the mind. The whole of creation at this hour becomes more pure. It is in this purity that the soul sees most clearly. The noise that comes from the body's needs and the noise that comes from the heart's longings both grow quiet. What is left is a mind that can receive, and it is into this open and receiving mind that true knowledge may enter. This is why the teachers say that a dream coming in this window is not to be ignored. It is to be held carefully, like water in cupped hands. The scripture is direct in its instruction. When you wake from a dream that came in this sacred time, do not turn and sleep again. Do not let the images fade into the ordinary morning. Write it down. Sit with it. Give it the attention that a message from something greater than yourself deserves. This is the teaching. The hour matters, and the dream that comes at the right hour carries the right weight. Part 3. Symbols and their meanings. The grammar of prophetic dreaming. Now, the scripture also teaches about the language in which these nightly visions speak. Just as a letter carries words, a dream carries pictures. And these pictures have meaning. This is the teaching of Swapna Shastra on symbols, the grammar through which the divine writes upon the sleeping mind. When you see a cow in your dream, know that good things are coming. When you see the sun rising, or the moon full and bright, or a river moving clean and free, the dream is telling you that prosperity and success are near. These are signs of what is good, what is coming, what is being given. When fire appears in your dream, and it is bright, and it is steady, not wild and out of control, it is not a sign of destruction. It is a sign that something in you is changing. It is a sign of growth, of movement toward the divine. The animals you see also carry their own message. The elephant carries greatness. It says, something large and powerful is moving in your life. The horse says, fortune is moving, and it is moving fast. The snake is more careful to read. If it comes with peace, it speaks of wisdom. If it comes with threat, it speaks of danger hidden somewhere near. The texts do not stop with these few. They go on for hundreds of symbols. Every creature, every light in the sky, every structure you see, every sensation you feel in the body within the dream, all of these carry a meaning. Together, they form a complete language, a language that the divine uses to speak to those who are listening. The teaching here is simple. Do not look at a dream symbol with the eyes of ordinary logic. Look at it as you would look at a word written in a holy letter. It was placed there with intention. It carries a meaning that is older than your thinking mind. Learn the language, and the dream begins to speak clearly. Part 4. Recurring Dreams and Divine Insistence. When the cosmos repeats itself. Now listen carefully. When a dream comes back to you again and again, this is not a mistake. This is not your mind playing tricks. This is the universe itself speaking to you, louder each time because you have not yet heard it. The holy texts teach this clearly. When a dream returns, it is because the message was not received the first time. The cosmic force does not give up. It comes again. It comes a second time. It comes a third time. It may come 7 times. 3 and 7 are sacred numbers. They are numbers of completion and of divine truth. When your dream carries these numbers in its repetition, know that something very important is being said to you. In the Puranas, the great holy stories, there are many examples of this. A person receives a vision in sleep. They wake up and forget it, or they think it was nothing. Then the same vision comes again the next night, and again. Only when it has come 3 times, or 7 times, does the person finally stop and listen. And when they listen, they find the message was never small. It was always something that needed their full attention. The teaching is simple. If you see the same dream many nights in a row, do not push it away. Do not tell yourself it means nothing. Instead, sit with it. Go to someone who knows how to read dreams. Treat this dream as you would treat a messenger who has walked a long road to find you. The messenger keeps knocking at your door. Will you open it? If this dream comes to you again and again near the sacred hours before sunrise, in the Brahma Muhurta, then its importance is even greater. This is the universe being very, very patient with you, and also very serious. It repeats itself not out of habit, but out of love. It wants you to know. It wants you to act. Part 5. The role of the dreamer's spiritual state in prophetic reception. Now hear this truth, which has always been true and will always be true. Not every person who sleeps will see what is real. Not every person who dreams will hear what the universe is trying to say. The dream comes to all, but not all can receive it cleanly. Think of still water. When the water is still and clear, you can see all the way to the bottom. You can see every stone, every grain of sand. But when the water is muddy, when it is shaken and disturbed, you see nothing. You only see confusion. Your inner self is the same as that water. When a person lives rightly, when they eat simply and purely, when they speak the truth, when they do not harm others, when they sit in silence and turn their mind toward the divine, their inner self becomes still and clear, like that calm water. And when such a person sleeps, the dream that comes to them is clear. The message is not twisted. The vision is not broken. What they see is close to what is real. But when a person lives in excess, eating too much, sleeping too much, speaking without care, acting without thought for what is right, the inner self becomes like muddy water, shaken, dark, heavy. When such a person dreams, the dream mixes with their confusion. What is true and what is false get mixed together. Even if a real message arrives, they cannot see it properly. This is not a punishment. It is simply the way things work. The universe does not hide its voice from the impure out of anger. It is that the impure cannot hear clearly. Their own noise is too loud. Their own heaviness blocks the light. So the teaching is this: if you want to receive true dreams, make your life pure. Not because purity earns you a reward, but because purity clears the water. It quiets the noise. It makes the receiver ready. And when the receiver is ready, the message comes through whole, clean, and true. The one who lives in Dharma does not just live a better life while awake. They also see more clearly while asleep. Chapter 3. The Voices in the Dream. Gods, Ancestors, and Cosmic Messengers. Part 1. Devata Swapna. When the gods themselves appear. Among all the signs that can come in the night, there is one that stands above all others. It is called a Devata Swapna, a dream in which a god or goddess appears before you directly, face to face, in their full and real form. This is what the holy texts say about it. When Vishnu, the great preserver, comes to a person in the night, when Shiva, the all-knowing one, stands before a sleeping soul, when the mother goddess herself looks upon a devotee in their dreams, this is not an ordinary thing. This is not the mind playing its usual games. The gods have chosen to speak. A message has come from beyond this world. The Puranas tell us many such stories. There were devotees who did not know which path to walk. There were people in great danger who did not see it coming. There were others who needed a blessing before a great task. In each case, the god came to them while they slept. The god spoke to them, showed them something, or simply stood before them in light and silence. When they woke, they knew exactly what they had been told. But how does a person know it was truly a god, and not just a dream the mind made up? The holy texts give a clear answer to this. When a true Devata Swapna occurs, the person waking from it feels something they cannot explain. There is a light they felt inside the dream, not like sunlight, not like firelight, but something much cleaner and much deeper. There is no confusion when they wake. There is no fading of the memory. The feeling that was there in the dream stays with them when their eyes open. Something in their chest is still, and they know without any doubt that what they saw was real. A dream made only by the mind may show the image of a god, but it will feel hollow, it will fade, it will carry no certainty. The true Devata Swapna carries a weight and a clarity that the ordinary dreaming mind cannot produce on its own. This is how the seeker knows. This is how the tradition has always known. Part 2. Pitru Swapna. Messages from Ancestral Souls. And if the gods may come in dreams, so too may those who have gone before us. The fathers, the grandfathers, Those who were once flesh and breath in this world, they do not simply vanish. The ancient texts say that these souls, the Pitrus, dwell in realms between this life and the next. They watch, they care, and when they must speak, they come in dreams. This is called Pitru Swapna, the dream of the ancestors. When a grandfather who has passed from this world appears in your sleep, it is not only a trick of memory. The Garuda Purana and the Vishnu Purana both say clearly, the ancestor has entered your dream because he must. He may come with a request. He may say, perform the Shraddha, offer the Tarpana, bring water for my soul. These rituals are not empty customs. They are answers to a call. When the ancestor appears asking for them, it means he is waiting. It means something is unsettled. The ancestor may also come as a warning. He may show you that a decision you are making will bring harm. He may come before a sickness, before a loss, before a great change, not to frighten, but to prepare. The love of the Father does not stop at death. It continues. It finds you in sleep. He may also come to bless. Before a marriage, before a birth, before a great step in life, the ancestor may appear simply to place his hand, in some way, upon you. To say, I am here. I have seen this. Go forward. The traditional teaching is simple. When such a dream comes, do not ignore it. Do not say it was only the mind. Perform the rite. Offer water. Call a priest if needed. Feed the hungry in the ancestor's name. The Puranas are clear. This is not optional. To ignore the ancestor who has come is to leave his call unanswered. The dream of the ancestor has a particular feeling. It is heavy with something old. The face that appears is known to you in a way that goes beyond ordinary memory. And when the dream ends, the weight of it stays. Part 3. Rishi Darshan in Dreams. Receiving wisdom from sages across time. There is another kind of dream that the great teachers speak of with the deepest respect. It is the dream in which a rishi appears, a sage, a realized one who has burned away all that is ordinary through years of tapas and deep inner fire. These beings, the tradition teaches, are not simply gone. They have not disappeared into nothing. The great rishis, Vasishta, Vishwamitra, Agastya, and the others, they moved beyond ordinary time through their practice. Time as we know it did not bind them the way it binds us. And so even now, across many hundreds of years, they can be seen, they can speak, and one of the places where this becomes possible is the dream. The texts tell us these dreams do not come to everyone, and they do not come often. They come when a person is truly seeking, when the heart has turned sincerely toward truth, or when a person is in a moment of great spiritual need and does not know which way to go. It is then that the sage may appear, steady, calm, full of a light that does not flicker. When such a sage speaks in the dream, even one word carries weight. Even a gesture of the hand, even a look in the eye, is enough. The tradition says that such guidance is to be received like Scripture itself, not questioned with the ordinary mind, not dismissed when morning comes. This teaching extends also to the Guru. In the many living lineages of India, disciples have always spoken of receiving instruction from their Guru in dreams. Not imagination, not wishful thinking, actual teaching, actual correction. Sometimes even initiation has come this way. The Sampradayas, the spiritual lineages, accept this openly. It is understood as part of how the Guru continues to work, even across distance, even across death. The Guru who has truly realized does not disappear from the disciple's life simply because the body is gone. The relationship between a real Guru and a real disciple lives in a deeper place than the body, and the dream is one of the doors through which that relationship continues to speak. Part 4. Ishta Devata Dreams. The personal deity's intimate communication. What the Guru is to the mind, the Ishta Devata is to the heart. And just as the Guru reaches the disciple through the dream, so too does one's chosen deity. The relationship between a devotee and their Ishta Devata is not like the relationship between a worshipper and a distant, unknowable God. It is close. It is personal. The Bhakti traditions teach that when a person chooses a deity, or when, as some say, the deity chooses the devotee, something real is formed, a living bond. And that bond does not sleep when the devotee sleeps. The Bhagavad Purana speaks plainly about this. Great devotees of Vishnu and Krishna did not only encounter their Lord in the temple or in prayer. They encountered him in dreams. And in those dreams, he did not come with the distance of a cosmic power. He came as one who knew them. He came speaking to their specific situation, their specific pain, their specific question. This is what makes Ishta Devata dreams different from ordinary religious dreams. When a person simply dreams of a god because they have been thinking about God, the dream carries the flavor of their own mind. But when the Ishta Devata comes truly, the Bhakti masters say the quality is unmistakable. There is warmth in it. There is recognition. The deity looks at the devotee the way someone looks at you when they have known you for a very long time. The temple is public, the rituals are shared, but the dream is private. It belongs only to the devotee. And so the Ishta Devata uses it for things that cannot be said in public. A gentle correction, a specific direction for a life decision, a comfort in a moment of private grief, a warning about something only that person needs to hear. The tradition does not treat this as imagination dressed in sacred clothing. It treats it as the natural fruit of devoted relationship. When love between a devotee and their deity becomes real and deep, the communication between them becomes real and deep. The dream is simply one of the places where that conversation continues, quietly, privately, and with complete attention to the one who is being loved. Chapter 4. Prophetic Dreams in the Sacred Stories. Hinduism's Greatest Dream Narratives, Part 1. Queen Maye's Dream and the Birth of the Buddha. A Shared Civilizational Vision. Among the great stories of the ancient Indic world, there is one dream that stands apart. Not because it belongs to a warrior or a king, but because it came to a mother before her child was even born. Queen Maye, the mother of the one who would become the Buddha, received a dream of such clarity and power that the wise men of her time had no doubt about what it meant. In her sleep, a great white elephant descended from the heavens and entered her side. The elephant was pure, radiant, and carried a white lotus in its trunk. The dream was not frightening. It was filled with peace, with light, and with the feeling that something beyond this world had just touched her life. When the Brahmin scholars of the court heard of the dream, they spoke clearly. The white elephant is the vehicle of Indra, the Lord of the heavens. It is among the most blessed signs in all the Vedic world. Its appearance in a dream means that something very great is coming, either a king who will rule the whole earth or a teacher who will guide the whole world. And so the ancient seers understood this dream not as a fantasy of sleep, but as a direct message from the divine. The child in the womb had already been announced. The heavens had already spoken. The birth was already written. This story comes from the same great river of Indic wisdom from which both Hindu and Buddhist traditions draw their water. The symbols, the method of reading dreams, the role of the Brahmins in interpreting signs, all of this belongs to a shared understanding that predates the division between these two streams of knowledge. What this dream teaches is simple and very deep at the same time. The ancient people of this land believed that even the moment of a great soul's coming into the world is not a private or hidden event. The cosmos announces it. The divine places a sign in the dreaming mind of a mother, long before any waking eye can see the child. The dream was the announcement. Part 2. Kaikeyi's Dream and the Exile of Rama, when a dream reshapes an epic. The night before Rama was to be crowned king of Ayodhya, something moved in the unseen world. The waking life of the palace was full of joy and preparation. Garlands were being made, lamps were being lit, the people of the city were happy. But in the dreaming world, the signs told a different story. Kaikeyi, the king's beloved queen, was visited by dark feelings that crept into her mind like a shadow before dawn. Her servant Manthara whispered words of fear and jealousy into her ears. Whether those words came from a waking mouth or from the dim place between sleep and waking, they found root in Kaikeyi's heart. The ancient telling does not separate the inner vision from the outer word. Both were part of the same dark current moving through that night. And so the dream became the door. Through it entered a thought that would change the story of an entire age. Kaikeyi went to the king and asked for 2 old boons he had promised her long ago. She asked that Rama be sent away to the forest for 14 years. She asked that her own son Bharata be made king instead. This was not only a woman's fear or a servant's envy. The tradition tells us that what happened that night was already written. Rama himself, in the hours before dawn, is said to have felt the call of his destiny settling into his chest like a heavy and holy stone. He did not fight it. He did not weep for long. He put on the clothes of a forest dweller and walked out of the palace with a quiet heart. The dream here is not a warning that failed. It is a message from the cosmic plan, telling those who were meant to play their parts that the time had come. The exile of Rama was not a mistake. It was the path. And the dreaming minds of that night were the first to know it, before the waking world had any idea what was about to unfold. Part 3. Draupadi's Visions and the Mahabharata's Prophetic Dream Culture. Before the Great War of Kurukshetra began, the night brought terrible visions to many. Gandhari, the mother of the Kauravas, saw rivers flowing with blood. She saw fire eating the Kuru family from within. She saw bodies everywhere. She saw the end of everything she had built and loved. She woke weeping, knowing what she had seen was not just a bad dream. It was the truth coming before its time. Yudhishthira, the eldest of the Pandavas, a man of righteous heart, also saw visions in the night. He saw how many would die. He saw the scale of the destruction coming. His heart grew heavy. He already knew, before a single arrow was shot, that the cost would be beyond measure. And Duryodhana, too, was visited in his sleep. Dark and frightening forms came to him. The message was clear. Turn back. Change your path. What you are moving toward will destroy you and everything around you. But Duryodhana was a man ruled by pride. He pushed the dreams away. He told himself they meant nothing. He chose his ego over the warning the cosmos had placed directly before him. This is the teaching the Mahabharata gives through these dreams. The universe sent its final word to those who still had the power to choose. It spoke through sleep, through visions in the night, through images that carried the weight of what was coming. The message reached Gandhari. It reached Yudhishthira. It reached Duryodhana. They all saw, but seeing is not the same as listening. When a person's heart is already hardened, even the clearest warning will not move them. Duryodhana had been told by the wise. He had been spoken to by Krishna himself, and when the cosmos spoke once more through his own dreaming mind, he still would not hear it. This is why the dreams of the Mahabharata are not just stories. They are a teaching about what happens when human pride refuses to bow before cosmic truth. The war that followed, with all its grief and all its death, was not a surprise. It had already been shown. The dreaming world had tried to stop it. Part 4. Vasudeva's Dream Before Krishna's Birth. A god announces his own arrival. In the same way that the Mahabharata's great war was foretold through visions that the proud refused to hear, the coming of God himself was foretold through visions given to those who had no choice but to receive them. This is what the Bhagavata Purana tells us about Vasudeva and Devaki, 2 souls locked in a stone prison by the wicked king Kamsa, waiting in darkness for the birth of their 8th child. They were in chains. They had already seen Kamsa kill 7 of their children with his own hands. There was no hope left in that place by any worldly measure. But in the final months of Devaki's 8th pregnancy, something began to happen in their sleep. Great light came to them in their dreams. Not the ordinary light of lamps or the sun, but a light that had no source, a light that simply was. Celestial sounds moved through their dreaming minds, sounds that did not belong to any earthly instrument. And with this light and these sounds came a knowing, a certainty that settled into them like something poured from above. They knew the child was not an ordinary child. They did not know this because someone told them. They did not know it through reasoning or through reading sacred words. They knew it because the Lord himself, who was about to take birth from Devaki's body, reached into their sleeping minds and made himself known before he made himself visible. The dreams were his announcement of his own arrival. The Bhagavata Purana presents this as a cosmic fact. Before the avatar touches the earth is prepared. Before God takes form, those nearest to him are shown what is coming. The dreaming state was the space where this news was delivered, because the dreaming state is closer to the truth of things than the waking world. Vasudeva and Devaki did not run from that prison in their dreams. They did not conquer Kamsa in their sleep. They simply received. They were given knowing. And when the child was born, radiating light that lit the entire dungeon, they recognized him immediately, not because they saw something new, but because they had already been shown. Part 5. Swami Vivekananda's Dream of Ramakrishna. Prophecy bridging modern and ancient. Swami Vivekananda stood at the edge of a great decision. The year was 1893. He had been invited to speak at the Parliament of Religions in America, a land he had never seen, before people who did not know his name. He was young. He was uncertain. He did not know if he was ready. In those days of doubt, he slept. And in his sleep, he saw his teacher. He saw Sri Ramakrishna, his master, his guide, the one who had shown him God, as plainly as one man shows another a fruit held in his hand. In the dream, Ramakrishna did not speak long words or give long teachings. He simply walked. He walked out across the great water, across the ocean itself, step by step. And he turned, and he called his student to follow. Vivekananda woke knowing what he must do. This is how it has always been. The guru does not leave when the body falls. The teacher does not become absent when death comes. The connection between a true master and a true student is not made of flesh and time. It is made of something that moves through sleep, that speaks through the quiet of the night mind, that reaches across whatever distance the waking world believes to be final. Ramakrishna had died in 1886, but in 1893 he walked on water in his student's dream and pointed west. Vivekananda went. He stood before the Parliament of Religions in Chicago, and he spoke, and the world heard India speak. The people rose and gave him their hands and their hearts. What had seemed impossible became real. What had seemed too large for one young monk became the event that opened the Western world to the ancient wisdom of this land. The dream had seen it before it happened. This is the tradition continuing in living memory, not in ancient texts alone, not in palace dungeons or royal bedchambers of a forgotten age, but in the documented life of a man whose words are still read today. The prophetic dream did not end with Krishna's birth or Yudhishthira's visions. It moved forward into modern times, wearing the same face it has always worn, the face of a teacher, pointing the way, appearing in the night to the student who must not give up. Chapter 5. Living with Prophetic Dreams. Practice, Discernment, and Spiritual Integration. Part 1. How to prepare the mind and body for prophetic dreaming. If you wish to receive a true dream, one that carries real sight, you must first make yourself ready to receive it. The ancient teachers say this clearly. A prophetic dream does not come to a troubled mind or a heavy body. It comes when you have made yourself clean, still, and open. In the evening, eat light food. Avoid food that is heavy, oily, stale, or born of violence. Such food clouds the inner senses and fills the night with restless, empty visions. The stomach and the mind are not separate. What you eat before sleep becomes the quality of your dreaming. Before you lie down, sit quietly and breathe with care. Breathe slowly, steadily, and with full attention. Let each breath settle the movement inside you. The ancient ones taught that the life force, the Prana, must be calm and gathered before the inner eye can open clearly in sleep. When you lie down, place your head toward the east or toward the south. The earth itself carries currents that move in these directions. To align your body with these currents is to place yourself in the natural flow of the world, rather than against it. Then, before your eyes close, turn your heart to your chosen form of the divine. Whoever it is you worship and trust, offer a simple, sincere prayer. If you carry a question or a concern, place it honestly before that divine presence. Ask to be shown what you need to see. Do not demand. Simply offer the question and then let it go. Keep the place where you sleep clean and peaceful. Let it hold a gentle fragrance. Do not bring anger, argument, or unresolved conflict into that space. The room in which you sleep carries its own quality, and that quality enters your dreaming. These things together, right food, right breath, right position, right prayer, and right environment, raise the quality of the one who is receiving. When the receiver is pure and still, the message that comes through is pure and clear. Part 2. Recording, sitting with, and interpreting the dream. A disciplined practice. When you wake from a dream that feels important, do not move right away. Keep your eyes closed. Stay still. Let the dream come fully into your mind before you open your eyes or begin to think about the day. The moment you move, the moment your mind begins its daily rushing, the dream begins to slip away like water through open fingers. These first quiet moments are precious. Do not waste them. When you feel the dream is fully with you, write it down. A small book only for this purpose, used for nothing else. Write down what happened, but also write down how it felt. Was there fear, peace, a strange heaviness? Did you see bright light or deep shadow? Did colors stand out strongly? Were there sounds, smells, or sensations on the skin? All of these things carry meaning. Do not write only the story. Write the whole feeling of the dream. Once you have written it, do not rush to understand it. This is where many make their mistake. The mind wants to know quickly, to close the matter and move on. But a true dream does not give up its meaning in a single sitting. Place the written dream aside, return to it the next day, and the day after that. Read it again with fresh eyes. Often what seems strange or meaningless on the first morning becomes clear 3 or 4 days later, without any effort at all. The meaning rises on its own when you give it space and time. It is like a root slowly pushing upward through soft ground. You don't pull it, you simply wait, and it comes. Do not force the dream to mean what you wish it to mean. Do not look for what you want to find. Look only at what is actually there. Sit with it quietly, the way you would sit with a respected elder, waiting with patience and without demand. The dream will speak when it is ready. Your only work is to be still enough to hear it. Part 3. When dreams warn of danger, prescribed rituals, and protective responses. If a dream comes to you with dark and frightening things, your home burning, your body falling from a great height, shadows chasing you, or the faces of those who have died, looking troubled and afraid, do not simply sit and wait for the bad thing to happen. The tradition does not ask you to accept it without action. It asks you to respond. These dreams are not sentences handed down without appeal. They are warnings. They are the world speaking to you before the harm arrives, so that you may do something while there is still time. To receive such a dream and do nothing is to waste the gift. The first response is prayer and ritual. If planetary forces have disturbed your path, the Navagraha Puja brings the 9 planets back into balance. If the dream warns of danger to your life or the life of someone near you, the Mrityunjaya Japa, the sacred repetition of the mantra to Lord Shiva, the one who conquers death, is to be performed with sincerity and full attention. This is not a small act. It is a direct appeal to the divine force that holds life and death in its hands. If the dream showed an ancestor, a parent, a grandparent, someone from your family line, appearing troubled, weeping, or asking for something, this is a message from that soul. They are reaching toward you. The prescribed response is tarpana, the offering of water and prayers to the souls of the departed, done with care and the guidance of someone who knows the proper form. Visiting the temple connected to the deity most present in your dream is also advised. Go with a clean body, a quiet mind, and an honest heart. Speak nothing false. Ask for protection plainly. The great teaching here is simple and clear. When the cosmos shows you a danger that has not yet arrived, it is not punishing you. It is trusting you. It is saying there is still time. Use it. Move with humility. Perform what is prescribed, and do not carry the weight of a bad dream as though the outcome is already fixed. It is not. That is precisely why the dream was given. Part 4. The danger of misinterpretation, where dream reading goes wrong. Do not let the dream become a mirror of your own wanting. This is the first and most serious warning the tradition places before anyone who works with dreams. When a man is sick and wishes for health, he may dream of healing and call it a sign. When a man is poor and longs for wealth, he may dream of gold and say the gods have promised it. But the dream did not promise anything. The man only heard what he already wanted to hear. This is not prophecy. This is desire wearing the mask of prophecy. The teachers of Swapna Shastra say clearly, a dream must be received as it is, not as you wish it to be. This requires a kind of inner stillness that most people do not naturally carry. It requires you to set down your hopes and fears before you even begin to look at what was shown to you. If you cannot do this, you should not interpret the dream yourself. You should go to someone who can see it without your longing attached to it. Another great error is treating every dream as a message from above. The tradition divides dreams into 3 kinds, and only one kind carries prophetic weight. Dreams born from the body's tiredness or from the mind replaying the day's events carry no such weight. To read them as divine signals is to invite confusion into your life where there was no confusion before. And there is a third error, perhaps the most common of all. A person sees one image in a dream, a snake, a fire, a crow, and takes that single image out and builds a whole meaning around it alone. But a dream is not a single word. It is a sentence, or sometimes a whole story. Each part must be read in relation to all the others. Cutting out one symbol and leaving the rest aside is like reading only one word from a teaching and calling it wisdom. The tradition is firm on this. Do not carry a significant dream to someone who only knows a little. Carry it to one who knows deeply, who lives rightly, and who can read the full language of what the night has placed before you. Part 5. Dreams as a path of awakening, beyond prophecy into liberation. There is something the wise have always known, and it is this. The dream is not only a message, it is a mirror. When you dream, you enter a world that feels fully real. The ground beneath your feet feels solid. The people you meet feel alive. The fear, the joy, the grief, all of it feels as true as anything you have known in your waking hours. And then you open your eyes, and in one single moment, all of it disappears. What felt completely real is now gone. It existed, and then it did not. The Yoga Vasishta, one of the oldest and deepest of all the holy books, asks a question that few are brave enough to sit with. If the dream world felt completely real while you were inside it, and you only knew it was not real after you woke up, then how do you know that the world you are sitting in right now is any different? This is not a trick question. It is the most serious question a person can ask. The teaching says that both worlds, the dream and the waking, are made of the same thing. They are both movements within consciousness. One ends when you open your eyes. The other ends when something far greater opens within you. This is what the tradition calls Viveka. It means the ability to see the difference between what is real and what only appears to be real. And the dream, used rightly, is one of the fastest teachers of this wisdom. So when a prophetic dream comes to you, yes, record it, sit with it, take it to someone who knows how to read it. Let it guide you, protect you, prepare you. All of that is true and good. But do not stop there. Let the dream ask you its deeper question. Let it remind you that you have woken up from one world already. The invitation, placed before you in the night, is to one day wake up from all of it, fully, completely, and forever.